Hello friends, my name is Jibola. You are about to hear one of the most intriguing, amazing stories you have ever heard in your life. The first time I heard about the story of brother Idris Sanni, it totally changed how I relate with God, especially when it has to do with divine intervention, especially in an area where you are prayed and you didn't see any kind of movement. However, God was writing something big that would change the globe. The next voice you're about to hear is that of a man that I call a man of faith, who went through the shadow of death indeed, spent 21 years in incarceration for an offense that he never committed. And at the end of the day, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, then to death. And right now, he is free as a bird to tell his own side of the story and how God came through for him. Your life is about to change. Sometimes in the midst of this narration, you might find it, intriguing to weep, to cry, to sober. But at the end of the day, you will shout for joy and see how God can come through for you. I can't wait to see you at the end of this video to hear your own side of the feeling, the bubbles in your belly. Your life is about to change. You're about to see God in another dimension. Welcome with me, brother Sanni Idris, for a life-changing story. God bless you.
My name is Valentine Idris Sanni. I'm an evangelist, an entrepreneur, an author, and I'm also a speaker. Growing up, I'm a kind of very, I'm a family boy. We grew up I grew up from an extended family. We are very big, large family, and we are all Muslim. We have this ritual we do every day. First thing in the morning, wake up, go to mosque, come back, read your Quran, then cook, go to school. That is our norm. When come back, go to the Arabic school. To the following day, that is just the normal ritual. But on this fateful day, I was at a very pivotal age of my life, at the age of 19. So that morning, I was at home when some OPC members, this was in 2007, I could remember. So they came to my family house. So that the Abore is the head of the OPC leader. So this was the peak of the OPC saga in Lagos State, when they were misbehaving and all that. So they know me very well. I know them because we all grew up in that community. That's where I am from. That's where I was born. So on getting there, that fateful morning, I remember before then, that morning I was inside the mosque. After I pray my, the Muslim, we have this prayer we have by 5 o'clock, we've gone to mosque. So when I came out from the mosque, I make some prayers, make some dua, as we say in Islam way, make some dua, and I was like, God help me, I poured out my mind. So when I left that, I felt this heavy burden in me. So when I get home that morning, they said Abore want to see me. So I go with them. So on getting there to his place, so they opened a room. In that room, I saw someone lying in a pool of his own blood. And then the question they asked me was if I knew the guy. I was struggling to recognize him, but when I recognized him, I admitted that I know him. So this was someone I know. He's my friend, though he doesn't live in my community. He lives far community to mine. So I was like, this person, I don't want to mention his name. So before I could know, on that fateful day, they started beating me. I remembered, I could still remember everything that happened, how I was tied on the pole, or electric pole, the wooden one, I still remember it. They tied my both hand at the back and they were beating me. Some of them hit me with this, they have some den gun with them, or my face was bruised. that day, some of them brought out this, there's this charms they tied on their waist, and the beating just continued. I was like, I had them said, I want to see how you survive this. How you can survive this charm they were using to beat me, to hit me. You know, they were beating me. One even stuck his vein gun in my mouth. It was crazy. And I was like, but the truth is, how do I survive? Especially the charms that was so, I saw it. But at that period, I passed out. I was unconscious. But what I noticed was immediately there was a heavy downfall of rain. It doesn't last more than 2 minutes. So the rain makes them to retreat from me, because I was just there and I saw my mother. My mother, I got the information. She was the only one at home. My brother, people have gone to work. She came, but she's just an old woman. She's powerless. What can she do? But she now ran to the station. So that fateful day, I was just there. Imagine at 19 years, undergraduate, waxing stronger academically, and this happened. In fact, God was present in that situation, because as the rain started, maybe because of what they held and everything, they ran for shelter from the rain. So I was left there. Before they untied me, I was on the floor. By the time I woke up in a police cell. So I can't even stand up. I was just lifeless on the floor of the cell. I was gasping like this. I was gasping for, fighting for breath. My faces were swollen, blood coming out from my nostril, my ear, my eyes were swollen, these lips, everything was disfigured. So I was broken, my bones, everything. For 1 week, I was on that floor. I can't eat, nothing. Because I said I know this young guy. So they said, they accused him. They were accusing me that something happened, I think 2 days ago. So that there is a woman in my bus stop. This woman we worship in the same mosque. I know her children. We live together. We grew up in this community. So they said some guy, she has a shop. Some guys attacked her, took her bag, blah, blah, blah. That was maybe a case of a robbery. So, and that night, the OPC, the way they behaved, then they harassed people, and they saw this young boy. He's a cinematographer, this is my friend. So they accosted him on the road at night and was like, where are you coming from? Who are you? He's a boy from the East. He doesn't hear. Most of these OPC boys, they can't speak English. They're speaking. So he was, I think, struggling with them. They beat him. They tore him. In fact, he almost died in their custody. They almost killed him. They've killed a lot of people like that. Injustice, jungle justice, they kill a lot of people like that. The OPC. If you know the peak around 25, 26, 27, they were ruining the faction. So that was how they had him. They went and locked him up. They have a cell. Before the government disbanded these people, they have a cell. They take laws into their hands. So that was how they went and locked him there. So thank God, it was later he was telling me that it was when he mentioned my name that he is not a thief. He do come to this place to see Idris. So that was Idris. They all know me. They know me. They know my family. They know all of us. We grew up that's my place. So then I say, he was locked up there without taken to the station for 2 nights. So on Monday morning, they now say they should come and call me to come and identify him if I know him. So on getting there, that was how I identify him. That wow, I mentioned his name. That was when they started beating me. So the accusation was that I brought in people from outside to come and disrupt the community or rob the community, and they've run. The others are at large. They were now accusing me of conspiracy to commit robbery and armed robbery, and others at large, meaning others have run. If I have done that, I won't even be staying in my house. I will have to run away. What kind of phase will I face this woman? The woman knows me very well, because at the end of the day, when the trial was going on, my mother and the chief imam of our mosque, they went to her and it was like, I'm sorry, I don't know your son. They still held your son. My hand is not. The woman confessed that. But there are some factors, So that was the beginning of the whole mountain that I faced. When the thing happened, my mother was ahead of, went to the station in my community. There's a police station there. So when they lose me from that shackles of, they tied me on the pole, they didn't take me to the station in my community. They took me to a different station outside my community. Because when my mother went there, they said they don't know, there's no case that was reported there, they don't know anything. So I was there. I think the ballet and the OPC members, they went to make a statement, a report against me. So as a young boy, my word against their word, they will take the ballet word. This ballet is like a king in my community. So they will take his word over my own. So I was there. So for that week, for the whole week, 1 week, I couldn't eat. I can't drink water. I was just on the floor there. So something happened. I think inside the cell, I remember when they locked some guys up also. And when I gained my strength, but I can't open my eyes because all my eyes were, there's a way your eyes will be swollen. You won't be able to open your eyelid and all that. That was how I was. But I know there's a presence beside me. There's a presence with me, like a light with me. So I was struggling seriously. I almost died. So after 1 week, I was able to gain myself. I stand up, I move back, and I rest my back on the wall of the cell. It's a floor. The floors are so murky, dirty. We all know, with lice, bed bugs. So my eyes caught this small Bible. Growing up, honestly, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in Christ. I don't believe in Christianity. I remember growing up, there's this song we used to sing in my house that if it is tomorrow or next tomorrow that I will become a Christian, let God take my life today. When I get hold of the Bible, I just get hold of it and I open it. And Psalm 119, verse 130, the entrance of thy word. Before now, you can't see me enter a church or holding, I can't hold it. It is forbidden for me. So after almost 1 month at the police station, they transferred me to the state CID, Banti. So I was at the state CID. I held my Bible, so that was how the journey began. So I don't have anybody. There was no family that can stand up for me. I have no one to stand up for me. So from there, they charged me to court. I was at the court. The first day they took me to the court, I spent roughly 1 month plus at the state CID. Saw a lot of things happen. So after that 1 month, they took me to court. They charged me to court and to go and face trial for conspiracy to commit armed robbery and others at large. That was the charges on my neck. And they took me to court. I remember the police, they need to do better. They took the police, I remember he was talking to, we were two, the casemate of the father and my brother was in the court on that fateful day. They extort money from, don't worry, because they snap us when we are the local police station before they were transferred to the state CID. So they attach those pictures. You will see that this person is under duress. He was tortured, everything. They have the picture. Before me, they tore it like this. They use it to extort more than almost 50,000 naira from my people. And the father and my brother, they contributed their money. And the policeman collected, not knowing that same document, with some document, that this man tore it before my eyes, was what's supposed to save me at the court. Because you can't, it's against the law. You torture people under duress like this. And even if I can, under that duress, I can tell you I have 100 guns. Just for you to leave me. Because I'm at the point of death. So the man knew, he tore it, and they used it to extort money from us. So they took us to court, and we were dumped, took us to prison. I was just at the age of 19, I found myself in prison when my education at the Lagos State Polytechnic had to cut short. That was how my wilderness journey began for 21 years. I never knew that as I was stepping that morning, as I was stepping out from that mosque, I'm going to begin a journey that would take a huge chunk of my life behind bar for the crime I never committed. And a lot of people are there like that. So it was a huge mountain for me. And when the journey begins, I was just in prison. There was no court because our case is under DPP. DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution, they were the one to give advice if the case should go on trial or not. So I was there from 2007 till late 2009. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we begin trial. So beginning the trial, so I was inside there when I start fellowshipping. I start fellowshipping from the station, fellowship with people they locked together in the cell, till I went to the prison, and the journey that was how the trial took from that 2009 to 2011 March, when we went for judgment. So as I was, that morning, I remember, inside the prison, for all those years, I was baptized inside the prison, and we have chapels, churches in there. So I teach. We have a school where I teach in the prison. So from there, and I was going to church. As we have church helpers, they call them church helpers, workers. So we run errands. We'll be the one to go and open emails. We have a register. In the morning, they don't open. Everybody is under lockup. So in the morning, we took that paper to the chief warder. He signed it. Their names, the Pentecostal, the Catholic, the mosque, the workshops, everybody has their own member. So that is the name they took. They will write it. Everybody, you now take it to the chief warder. The chief warder will now sign it, open them. So you take it to the yard master. From the yard master, it will escort us to each bit 1, A, B, C, and so on. So they will now use name. So I was doing all those things. So I become a coordinator like a pastor of a cell. Where each cell has its own pastors that lead the flocks. So I was, as a helper, I was doing those works. I was ministering in the cell. That was how my ministration started. So we send errands. Even the pastor, the overall pastor, is also an inmate. So I'll wash his clothes, do some errands for him. So we go out, first thing in the morning, we are the first set of people that are going to be opened outside. And what's our work? We go to the chapel, we sweep. So we have only one chapel in there. So if today the Pentecostal use the church, tomorrow the Catholic will use it. So we rotate it. They have times table for it, how they rotate it. So our work is in the morning we arrange canopy, we pack chairs. Before they now open the whole image, we come outside to worship and all that. So we do that every day. So when we close in the morning, we coordinate service in the cell. They open us by 9-10 o'clock. We'll go to church in the main chapel. When we finish, we go back inside the cell. We start service in the evening again when we finish that. So we do that 3 times a day. We worship 3 times a day because that, you have all the time there. So that's how the routine has been for me. That was when I started. In fact, that was when I started preaching. I was like, wow, see myself. I start preaching. I remember the day I was baptized, and that day I never expected I would have visits. So I was inside the church, was on white, during baptism. My baptismal name was on the tag was there with other images that was baptized. And I remember when I was called for visit. I went for a visit. I saw my brothers, and they were like, "What's going on?" I said, "I remember they gave me a gift of a Bible for my baptism. I held it, and I said, so they were angry about it. So since then they left, and then I remember they wrote me a letter, stating if this now is Jesus that will save you. Let's see if Jesus truly will save you. Some people in there, even among the inmates who knows me very well, because growing up as a Muslim, I go to Arabic school to an extent. I know the Quran in and out. I study the Quran. So that's some inmates who mocks me. They insult me, abuse hell out of me, that I'm going to the church because of food. People don't know the struggle you are going through. They just believe, even me, if there is anything that is most difficult for me to do, is to proclaim the name of Christ. I've never ever think in my life that I will get to that point that I will stand before inmates in that wilderness preaching Christ. It's not easy for me. But till today, some people ask me where I got that courage from. I don't know. But it happens naturally. I find myself doing those things. I labor heavily under the heavy hands of God. In that place, there was no food. Stay in the cell, overcrowded, as small as this place is, we can be 100 inside. We do all that, and some people, all what they can say, inmate, one of the most difficult places to lead people is in the prison, because you see different kind of people. There are a lot of people who did not commit, but there are also many people who have committed the worst. They insult hell. If you don't have your mind on your own, you will just give up. That this thing is getting too much. They believe, churches comes from outside, the Catholic, many of them, they invest heavily in this place. So bring food. They believe it's the relief of that food that they are bringing. That's what makes me to go to church. But they don't understand the deep part of it. I remember at the station, there's this program that the Redeemed do then. They said a can can make a difference. So what they do is every Sundays they go to the station, police stations, especially the major ones, the state CID, the SARS. I've been to SARS. They transfer me up and down then. So I remember they tie those food in a black nylon like this. So every Sunday is a Christmas. For us, inside the cell, Sundays is, oh my God. So what we do is, may God have mercy, we lie that, okay, if the numbers are 20, we said, okay, the numbers are 40 or 45, so that they will give us double. The reason behind it is because of the hunger, the level of hunger in there. So when they give us those food, they will give us tutu inside nylon. Baba Deboye rice don't come. Baba Deboye, that's how, the inmates inside, we're in cell 1. Cell 1 is like an oven cell. Whether you are in morning, you are in afternoon, you are in night, you don't know what is happening. It's like underground cell. You don't know what happens outside the world. It is always dark. The heat there, it makes your body cake. You sleep like this. Someone will sleep, will sit down like this on the floor, fold your legs. Someone will sit in your middle. Someone will sit. That's how we sit inside the oven. So when you want to sleep, you sleep like that. Someone will sleep on your chest. The other will sleep. I've seen someone has died on my chest. I wake up, you find out that this person is not my life. It's gone. Yes, a lot of things happens in those cells. So that is how we sleep. So that Sunday, when they bring those food is a lifesaver. May God bless whoever has contributed in that aspect, because that food helps me, honestly. Because at the end of the day, I will eat out of one of the nylon. I will keep one. So I will keep that food. I will eat out of it on Monday morning. In the evening, I will take some ration out of it. Tuesday, I will keep it till Tuesday, Wednesday, and it will become muco, in a heated place like that. You can't know whether it is more, it's always dark. So as spoiled as it is, the fungi, everything, I eat it like that because there was no food. Unless once in a while, the marshal of the cell, which is the provost, they will give us a cup of this tin tomato, this small tin tomato, they use it to mention garri. I remember one day, this guy they were caught in I think a robbery case. So the family came to visit him that day, and they brought this moi moi. We call it moi moi. Is wrapped in a leaf, and so he was eating it with garri. When he finished eating, I was begging him, please just help me. Let me have that water of that garri. Let me just drink. May God have mercy on that guy, because it's late now. He was released and he went for robbery, and I learned he was killed. He gave me that water. That water is because I was burning inside me with thirst. People don't. Hunger knows how to make your body incapacitated, and all your bones. I can't stand for a minute without get fall. So I always stay at the back of I always stay at the back. So I will rest my back on the wall, raise one of my leg, put it on the wall. So hold that my Gideon Bible. That my Gideon Bible followed me to the prison. So I will beg him. So when he now begged him, he gave me the wrap of the moi moi, the leaf. My God, I was licking it. I felt hunger. So that's why when I see people hungry, I can give anything for them, because I have been really hungry in that journey. So that food all keep me, it helps. At the court. So, but on this my case, when the judge just mentioned, about to mention the sentence, he packed his bag and ran away. I was looking, only me left and my second. We are the only one left. So the journey of my trial started that 2007, going to court till March 3rd. I can't forget that day. March 3rd, 2011. That, after the whole this thing, God has been showing me victory. And honestly, coming to the place of Christ, honestly, I've never been, I have known, I've been a Muslim all my life. I know our mode of worship, everything, but there is a relationship that I find myself in when I come in contact with Christ, when I have this encounter. Because it is only in Christ that God will show me something, and it immediately, it will happen the way exactly it. God has been showing me victory, and because I was facing one of the most, the Bible says in the book of Luke 18, was talking about a judge who was not, this woman was going pleading and all that. That was exactly the judge I was facing. I've never heard that there's a single person who has faced this judge for trial. It's not released for, it doesn't, the least it could give you is 21 years or life imprisonment. Majority of the people on death row were the inmate who faced trial before her. So because of the way I pray, the way I do evangelism, sometimes I organize crusade in the cell. I will visit B block, maybe from 1 to 14, D ward from 1 to 14. Every day I'll be visiting. Today, if I visit this cell, tomorrow I go with some other church helpers, and so then I rose up to become the secretary of the church before the judgment at the Ikoyi prison, and so a lot of inmates whom we face this judge together, who also have case, people, when immediately they assign your case to that judge, on your own you develop BP. On your own, you in fact, we gather, all of us will gather. If any of them go to court, once you hear what, we want to hear what is happening. Because at the end of the day, no matter how your case is, you are going for it. It doesn't, though I had some stories that maybe she has a very bitter experience, that's why she's doing that, So, but because the way I live, how I prayed and everything, people were banking on my case to see that, okay, you want to see how your case will turn out. So when I go to God, I say, God, you can see, please, don't put me to shame. A lot of people from family, salvation is a risky business. It makes you to lose support. You lose community support, you lose friends, you lose family. All my life, I grew up in a Muslim community. That is all I know all my life. So I lose all those things because of my newfound faith. So I was begging God, please, just do this for me. Please, don't allow my own case to end the way, because because I've been challenged. That it was I wrote that in one of my books, The Battle Line. I've been challenged that we'll see how this thing will turn out. And family say, okay, is this okay? Let that Jesus save you. Maybe you want to live in prison perpetually. So it was really, honestly, how I got the courage, the strength to be able to I was like, imagine what family are going to say, imagine what a lot of inmates, because one inmate once told me, he was the imam of the mosque, the assistant imam of the mosque at the Ikoyi prison. He was told me, said, you, every morning you be preaching, is that you, Oma condemn meaning you, let's bet it, they will condemn you at last, you know. But I have that hope and confidence that God will not forsake me. So when that judgment happened, I gave up. I gave up. What's his name? Forgotten his name. He went to Jesus. He said, "Lord, help my unbelief." God help my. At that point, I said, "I'm no more doing." So I said, the day I now plan, I said, okay, I have to go back to my Islam. So that morning, I've gotten a kettle, you know, to go, and there's what we call janaba, just like a baptism back in the Islam. So I have plans to do that. Everything has been set. So after the sentence, I was moved to the maximum security prison, Kirikiri, and I was there. So I was on death row. I was inside those cells, like they have nightmares. Those cells have nightmares. So I've made up my mind that I'm done. If you can allow people to mock me like this, you know, despite my boastfulness in the power of Christ to save me and all that, I said I'm no more doing it again. But at the end of the day, a day for me to cross over, they sent for me from the church. On getting there, they said the head, the leader of the church, the pastor of the church, will be released in the next 1 week. That they've heard about how I was dedicated at the Ikoyi prison, everything about me. The chaplain have also called and reached out and all that. Where will I want to take it from? I just said, I don't have anything to do with this. But lo and behold, I was just called, and there are a lot of people in the church, the council, the elders, the councils, these are people they are far my senior in age. Some of them have spent 30-something years there, that I met them there. So some of them too, they have been ahead of me in everything there. So why should they come and call me for this kind of meeting and said, I'm taking, even the assistant of the pastor is there. And now you are calling, it was a huge challenge. And there is a kind of rules in prison whereby someone on death row does not hold a significant position within the four walls of the prison. So certain people kick against it. That how would someone on death row, would they put me, you know? But lo and behold, that was how, because at the point I almost committed suicide. I have a suicide thought that I can't bear the shame anymore. I have to end it all. So, but God in His infinite mercy, there's a divine providence where He raised a lawyer through my casemate. So that lawyer was the one that took over the case and started pursuing it at the appeal court before my release. So it was really, really tough for me because I fought all night that no, I can't go back anymore. If you can allow this judge, do you know how many people have faith because of my case that if this woman can leave this boy? Yes, but at the end of the day, I find myself on death row, looking at people who I met on death row that have spent decades of years. I believe it is finished. Because most time even where you work or where you go to, you want to start working here, and I see people who have spent so years and their life is like this. That's to show that in the next 10 years, the same way my own is going to be. And I saw people who have spent 15 years, 20 years on death row. And I come in. It was tough. Getting out of that hook, it was tough. He said, can the mighty be taken away? Can, the prey of the mighty be taken away? Someone someone is in the lion mouth and you say you want to, how? That was the situation I was. So finally, that night, God said, you see this is your journey, this is your purpose. He said, death never threatened a man on purpose. So during that period, I took over the leadership of the church at the prison there. I was in charge of it and everything. That was how another journey entirely. It was a difficult journey, the fact that, number one, there is no date. You will just be there. People are just, forever and ever. You are just there. There is no date that maybe you are going to call. There is date you are going to call. There are three categories of people in prison. There are people who go through for trial. They know date. There are people who have been sentenced already. They know the date they are going. So they feel relaxed. But this one, you don't know the date. There is no date, nothing. You will just be there. Working, it's just forever and ever. So I was there, steering the leadership of the church. A lot was heavy on me, because at times when I look at my case myself, I was like, how do I encourage others in the place of faith? Because some inmates, you see them break down, crying, I'm tired, I've been doing this, I've been sweeping, I've been working hard, I've been praying, I've been fasting. But God, so it was really tough for me, because I do counseling. True. It's just like when the city of, in the book of Esther, the city of Susan was put in mourning. The others, they were enjoying, because there is cushion at that time. So a lot of things, at that point in time, nobody, in fact, people develop diarrhea immediately. You go to toilet more than 10 times a day. There are some people I know or were in death row together. They were called back, Mike and others. They were called back and they were executed. I know them. So at that point, I was like, God, even my faith was challenged and stretched, because I say, God, and in the midst of all, and these things still look like this, God, your promises and all that. But I hold on to him. During that period, the building, the church structure there was dilapidated. So it was during that period I came up, I said, okay, I called a council meeting. I said, okay, this is what we are going to do. We are going to raise money. We're going to talk, because we do offering every Sundays. There are certain privileges given to inmates. It's not a right. When you abuse it, they seize it from you. But it's a kind of privilege. When visitors come to fellowship with us for prison administration, after the service, we do offering, they put their little, even so that was how, we gathered some little this thing. And I said, okay, we need to change this structure. And to the glory of God, I was so happy that during my time there, we're able to pull down the whole structure, and we build a new structure today, which is stayed there at the maximum prison. So I was so happy because I was able to do that through the grace of God, through me, to achieve that. It was when I become the leader, at the end of the day, we'll have the first drum set. We just sat there and all that. I remember all those this thing. But it comes with its own challenges also. So one morning, my lawyer called me, reached out to me through the welfare that I should be preparing for that. We've approached judgment. So at the end of start from scratch. I wrote WAEC 3 times there. Not that I fail, but I just have to find something keeping me going. Before they introduced the National Open University scholarship for inmates, then we do the churches pay for our school, our fee, then at the National Open University, before they finally gave it as a free scholarship. So I was doing that also. So when God told me that I'm in a journey of purpose, one night after my prayer, I have that inspiration. The least thing I ever expected, I dream of becoming a pilot, but the least thing I ever expect is for me to write books. I've never thought about it in my life. And I said, there are a lot of people out there that you need to encourage. There are a lot of people, they are working out there, but their mind, they are in prison. It doesn't matter that you are in this 4 wall or you are on death row. Death row is the higher set of prison. It's different from the one others are. So he said, I begins to pen things down. So the first book I wrote, Gifted but Caged in Prison, I never write that book or believe that I will write the book and I will sell or somebody will be interested in it. But I just want to pass a message across that to youths, that there are certain things you can do that can land you here. If I'm there, not everyone you see their name on the newspaper truly commit what they say they commit. If I am there and the newspaper have carried my name, you can make mistakes that will lead you there. So I write that books to youths, to parents and all that, okay, see my journey. I wrote the book. And lo and behold, in December, when the bishop came for the for visitation, because we always celebrate the December with the inmates, I launch it. Help come from everywhere. And lo and behold, when I align myself to what God told me, everything seems, yes, there are challenges, but things begins to flow. God said something. He said, when I send you without no pause, do you lack anything? To the glory of God, through my years on death row, there are periods that was tough. After then, I never lack anything. God, people were showing up at every point in time. I was like, so all these years from my trial in Atikoyi, from the state CID, local station, state CID, till now, all those suffering, when I hold on to that promises, till that time, honestly, I know God was raising people, was bringing up people for me. They were showing up at every particular time. I wrote more than 10 books on death row. Yes, I wrote more than 10 books. I was releasing them batch by batch. So the first one I wrote was Gifted but Caged. I now wrote Turning Adversity into Possibilities. Sometimes It Takes a Mountain, Born Guilty, Chains of Scandals, and so others. So I start releasing them. I still have an archive of some books. I led the church from 2011 to I was released in 2021. I led the church from 2011. I become the full shepherd of the church. That morning, that week, I have that revelation about my release, and I remember waking up that Monday morning. There was a heavy downpour during the night, and then a young man from the wing of the ATM are those awaiting trial mates. They came. He ran to me and he said, "I saw you. I've seen it before." He said, "I saw you in my dream last night. That they released you." I said, "I know." I told my case-mate, but they won't believe until it happened. Even the day I was going for judgment, when I was sentenced to death, God showed me. So that day, He showed me the same vision, dream, where I turned back on death row, on the gallows, because I said I'm going. When I was turned back, I woke up then. I know that I'm going to be sentenced to death. But this time around, I was descending down the gallows that I've seen it. I told my case-mate, I said, this week we are leaving. They are going to release us this week. He didn't believe. The news came in that your case has been overturned by the higher courts. You know, the judgment of the appeal court supersede the high court. So after the years of tumultuous trial and all those things, it ended in praise. So the news come, the whole yard was on jubilation. I've been released. So, and before then I finished my degree. I do everything I see in prison, I try to equip myself with. I learn how to make soap, any kind of soap. I study peace study and conflict resolution. That's what I study. Then I also do diploma in computer. So then I also learn how to build websites, you know, and all that. So those opportunities, no matter how little they are, as they come, I grabbed it. It was huge feeling because, you know, the day before my release, you know, if the court pronounce the judgment of your release today, it will take at least another 1 week or 2 weeks. So at the end of the day, when everything was done, they now said, okay, you'll be going. The day I know that tomorrow I'll be going, for 1 week, I didn't sleep because I was processing a lot of things, you know. It was a different feeling. I was like, so God is faithful to His word. At this point, I was just thought I can't eat. I've left the outside world for a long time. Now I'm a newborn going outside again. So there are people, Pastor Abibat, Pastor Jimmy Tewe, all of them, they all come together, the church, that, you know, they were waiting for me outside that day. So I remember that day, it was free from here. And I left people I met there, 15 years they've been there before I came, 10, 20 years, I left them also there, and I'm coming out. It can only be the grace of God. So that was how I was, God finally turned the judgment into my favor, and I got my release, you know. Whatever challenges, mountain, or valley you find yourself today or you are facing today, I want you to hear this. Remember when I went to court for judgment in 2011 and I was sentenced to death? For me, it was the worst thing. It was the highest disappointment from God for me. But God sees everything. God has the power for me to be released that day. If I have been released, it will look like a testimony to me. I will go back to my old mother who was sick and in there. But you look like a testimony, but my dream will die. My salvation, in all honesty, when I passed through death row, that is what really built my faith in Christ, that nothing, no death, nothing on earth could take that from me. That salvation will die. My books, I will never have written books. It will die. My degree, it will not be accomplished. My vision, my dreams, everything will die. It will look like a testimony that, oh, finally you got your release, the judgment favor you. But in disguise, it's not complete, it's half-baked. It will die. Same thing like Joseph. If they have released him when they brought him out of the pit, the father will be happy to receive the son. But the vision, the fulfillment of him being a governor in Egypt will not come to pass. So the ministry God has called me to will have died if I've been released in 2011. So whatever you are going through, don't be in haste. Hold on to faith. Hold on to Christ. Hold on to his promises. He will never fail you. I have been through the furnace of, in fact, there is no situation. I have sick to the point of death on death row that, in fact, the whole night they were hitting the door for the warders to open door. They didn't open door. In the morning, I was carried to the hospital, the clinic. I've seen like a leprosy. I was inflicted on my body. I couldn't even stand up. They always carry me. I have seen all manner of things to the point of death. And God saved me. Trust me, no matter the difficult situation you are in now, let me tell you, when God, just hold on to him, remind God of his word, he will save you. It will all end in praise, unless you don't believe. If you stay on that course to the end, what seems to be testimony that you eager for at the earlier on, you will now understand why God take you through that challenges, that imprisonment. You think you are all financial imprisonment or whatever imprisonment you are going through right now. Know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You'll be released. You'll be free. If it has happened to me, I've tested both sides and God saved me. It will surely do to you.
Friends, wow, I know that will be your exclamation. I haven't heard all those. I mean, the first time I heard it, it brought tears to my eyes. And this is my last word for you today. No matter what you're going through, God is not blind. Scripture says it this way. He said his ears are not dull of hearing, neither are his hands short to save. You might be in a season of your life you are looking for, where is your face? How are you going to step in for me? Hearing the story of Brother Sanni today should change your perspective forever. It took him 21 years. We are not saying it's going to take you that long, but one thing I can guarantee you is that God is in that journey with you every step of the way. Do not give up. Keep praying. Keep walking within the dealings and the processes for your life. This is my prayer for you today. And whatsoever situation, condition you are today that looks as though you have been forgotten, you are the backside of the bush, the deepest, darkest season of your life, I declare in the name of Jesus, just as God came through for him via supernatural divine intervention, supernatural divine intervention. I pray for you that you see God at work in your life. You will come out of that dark season. Light will shine on your path. Your hope will be resuscitated. Your joy will be restored. And there will be accomplishment. All that you have lost, wow, you are going to get it back again in the mighty name of the Lord Jesus. Maybe one thing you didn't hear about that story is that Braval is now getting married, having a successful relationship, successful business. He's doing so well. Wow, that is exactly what happened to Job, that the later end of Job was far better than his former. And that's my prayer for you, that as you go forth from here, your later end will be far better and restorative than that of the former. In the name of the Lord Jesus. I can't wait to see you again on another episode while you watch the story of how God has changed the lives of